I've never liked the seat that's on my little Kubota tractor, and about a month ago, Northern Tool had this big sale. They had like $80 off and free shipping on this seat that I've been looking at for several years now. So I decided to pull a plug on it, and it arrived a couple days after I ordered it. I kept it put away until we got some better weather and the snow was gone and stuff. And there you can see it arrived in real good condition. It was, just thrown in a big box with another box to keep it from bouncing around. And it is a fairly heavy seat. It's about 55 pounds, I think. But it's a Michigan suspension seat, and I'm hoping that this will, help with the ride on my Kubota. I spend like 10 hours a week or 12 hours a week on that machine, and the old seat just never was comfortable, and it hurts your back whenever you hit a bump, so I decided to try this. So this is kind of how I was able to install it. First thing I did is I removed there's 4 nuts to remove the old seat. The top ones there, you can see they're inside those springs, and I struggled with them at first here, you can see, just by, getting a wrench in there and trying to get them out. But I later learned that it's a lot easier if you just pull that plastic cap out, or rubber cap out of the end there, and go in with a socket from the end. But, so my first thing was to get the seat off, and this took a couple hours by the time I was done, so it wasn't a real super quick job, and I'm not sure if I did it the best way, but it worked out good, I think. So you have to remove that little switch cord too from there, unplug that, and then just remove the old seat. Now the first thing I did was I decided to try to set it in there and see if I could use the slides and mounting brackets that came on it, but it didn't even come close to lining up to anything that was there. It's like a whole different configuration. So, in the end, I wound up using the seat that came on the Kubota. And there you can see there's brackets held on the bottom with 4 bolts. And there's also 2 steel spacer bars that are underneath the bolts to help stabilize everything. So I pulled that bracket off the Kubota seat first, and then I, kind of held it in place over the new seat just to see what I could do with it. And I decided that I was going to have to remove the slides that came on the new seat. There was no way that I could really get them to fit in there and work. Plus, I needed the seat belt to be mounted, so that was one of the reasons why I used the existing bracket, because that one had all the hardware for the seat belt on it, so it would still be just as safe. So I got those slides off the new seat, and then I kind of lined everything up and looked like it was going to fit. So I had to go back and put this bracket back on the tractor. Kind of stupid to have to take it off and put it back on, but that's what I wound up doing. So, I put that back on, and then I took the new seat, and I was able to sit it on there and basically line it up in the best position for it. Now, this new seat's a whole different thing. It's got a couple inches of travel, and you have to watch out that it doesn't hit anything. So I got it located the best I could, and then I went back and I drilled 2 holes for the front mounting that actually lined up with the holes, or the threaded holes in the seat for mounting the slides that came on it. Now, I would have liked to use the 2 holes that were in the Kubota bracket, but it turned out there was suspension hardware up inside the seat there, so I just could not, drill through there and get a bolt in. So there it is. I just kind of set it on the seat. I put 2 long bolts up through there. There is a big gap. I'll show you how I dealt with that later. Plus, I had to put use the metal spacers that came on the Kubota seat. You can see there I'm just kind of drilling through everything through the existing holes. And I had to use those spacers just so that everything would fit. I decided I wanted to bolt down the back side of the spacers too so they wouldn't swing. So I just had to put a couple of countersinks from the back there, and then I just mounted them on that back hole with a bolt up from the bottom just to, keep them from moving over time. And like I said, I'm not sure if this is the best way to do it, but it was the easiest way that I could do it right now without making new brackets. There you can see I had to put some bolts, some studs I cut for the front seat mounting, and I double nutted that. I screwed it into the thread in the seat, then I put a nut on there to lock it, and I put another nut up to hold the bottom of that seat up. I could have built a spacer, but I decided to try it with nuts first. And then I just went back and I, screwed it down to the seat. And so there's what it looks like when it's done. And this is how I'm holding the front of the seat. So you can see where it's just kind of using the two nuts to pull it down and hold it. I don't know if that'll last over time. I think it will, but time will tell, and I may have to make a spacer someday. But for now, that's what I did. Then once I got it hooked on that bracket, I was able to just go drop that back on the tractor into the existing mounting holes. And the good thing about using that bracketry that was in place here is the seat still flips up. There you can see how it still swings up. And I'm putting these springs back in it for now. I don't know whether or not I'll leave them there because it may be a little bit too much side to side springiness caused by them. But I'm gonna leave them there for now, and I can always put solid blocks in there later. And then you just have to plug in the safety switch, and luckily it plugs right in and hooks in. And then I had to raise the armrest. Now, it kind of sucked that they had used like nuts or bolts with like teeth on the bottom of them instead of lock nuts. So there you can see there's some big rings there I'm going to have to touch up with some paint. And, basically there it is. It's fit on there. It does sit a little bit higher. It's in there real tight. It's a very comfortable seat, I find out. It has armrests that are, and there's little screws there you can adjust the angle on them, and then there's a little knob on the side there that allows you to adjust the backrest angle, which really is helpful. And then on the other side there's a little lumbar adjustment that pushes the center out a little bit. And then on the front of the seat you set your weight on there just for the suspension so that it works properly with your weight. Then next I took it out for a ride, and it was just amazing the difference. This thing, instead of just getting jarred whenever you hit a bump, the whole seat just floated up and down. Really nice. It does sit a little bit higher, but luckily I still have headroom in there for my canopy on top. But, it's a little different seating position I'll have to get used to, and it is just so adjustable and so comfortable compared to what I had. I've always hated that seat. So here you can see when you get on it, it's got about 2-3 inches of travel up and down, and that really absorbs the jolts that you used to get with the old seat. So time will tell whether or not I like it, but I do spend 10-12 hours on it every week mowing and doing other things, so I think it was a worthwhile investment. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.